viewers. But before that, let us get in touch with us on our social media platforms. That is EBN TV on Facebook, and also you can share the link and share everything that we do here with the rest of your the people you know out there, so that we can spread the gospel of football all around Kenya and beyond. So I have with me, I have two gang members and a ganglet, of course, today. There's not a ganglet. Yes, a ganglet.
Very nice. I love that we can balance.
So welcome so much to the show.
Thank you.
Naona mmejipiga pamba sawa pale mnang'ara kweli kweli.
Fully represent.
Hatutaki mchezo leo.
Yes, me I had to come with the coat because I have to be neutral, of course. So mimi leo supporter na support watu ofisi. Leo mimi yule wale watu ofisi pale kwa football sector
Federation.
Mimi kwa federation. Nyinyi sasa ndio kwa pitch sana vizuri kabisa. So you look amazing, guys.
Thank you.
And I would encourage for you to be coming there with a jersey every day in a cafe kabisa.
You know.
You should be, yeah? I'm happy to see Cynthia here.
Yet again.
I'm always happy when you're here.
Merudi yet again.
Kabisa.
So hopefully today we'll have something important to educate our viewers.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're talking about gender balance, and at least we are trying our best. And one of us talked to me, nilimpata huko nje. Literally, many people are watching this show. Akaniambia we should look for somebody mwenye na support, mwenye ni fan wa Man City pia kwa part of the panel. So
shida ni hawakwangi wengi. Mafans wa Man City.
I said the same thing. They're like only two in Kenya. I know there are only two in Kenya. So among the two, please, if you are out there, you're a Man City fan, you can holler at us. Tutakuita once in a while kwa panel. Pia represent team yako. Na pia tunataka mtu wa Liverpool. Alikuwa anafaa kuja leo. But unfortunately ameko head up pahali. So maybe hopefully next week atakuwa around because we need a balance here.
Yeah.
And my producer, please prepare because we'll be hapa tutakuwa crowd hapa in the coming. So officially, introduce yourselves first, starting from ladies first. Bwana Rodney mtangojea.
Ladies first.
Sawa, as a lady I'll go first. Cynthia Nanjala, big fan of Chelsea FC. Locally I'm a big fan of FC Leopards. I'm happy to be here. Let's see what we can get out of ourselves here.
Definitely, and I'm happy because I'm an FC Leopards fan because I am.
You know I'm from Ingo, so watu wangu Ingo nisipoenda Ingo hapo iko shida.
That's a stars will curse you.
I'm telling you.
You see, we are born Ingwe fans, not just we were born in.
Yeah. You wakati unazaliwa. People around you already support Ingwe.
Exactly.
So there's no other way.
Of course, my father told me that it's either support Ingwe or a shift from his house. So I had to. Let us go to Rodney.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rodney, proud supporter of Manchester United, and welcome to the Scoreboard. Enjoy the show.
Yeah. And you see, the introduction was very strategic because Ingwe and Manchester. Now the rest can follow.
Strategic.
So, karibuni sana to the Scoreboard. Once again, we are here to enlighten you with all the sporting action that has happened during the weekend. Of course, what happened during the week after the show last week. So, tutakuwa tunawajulisha every news that may happen, everything matters sports locally and international. So, stick by and do not touch that dial.
Do not touch that.
Don't touch that dial bana. Itongaje ki kwa hiyo inaitwa remote. Usiguze remote tafadhali. And for Teddy, thank you so much. Ameomba team itonga muomba msamaha atafika man nitongaje. Aliomba ruhusa ni ruhusa hapa. Teddy ameomba ruhusa, so thank you so much, and I believe you're watching. Thank you so much because for the support, and everyone who is watching, please share the link so that tufikie watu wengi kabisa, because we need this show to grow ikwetu kubwa. We need a massive following, we need a massive show. So because we are, from our end, we are doing everything possible to make sure that you have an entertaining show. We do the due diligence to make sure that we get the best out of this Scoreboard. So guys, like I said earlier in my introduction, that there was so much sporting actions this weekend. Even before the weekend, there was sporting actions ranging from the Diamond League and everything. But today, because of time, maybe singapenda sikidogo, but we still congratulations to Kipyegon and Cherotich and Chebet.
Faith Cherotich.
Exactly, because it was like a Kenyan sweep in the Diamond League. So definitely,
actually, like for the women's track, we had, I believe it was 4 sweeps, if I'm not wrong, in the women's track with Mary Mora, Faith Kipyegon, Beatrice Chebet, Faith Cherotich. And that was the biggest sweep for the Kenyan team and the African continent.
Exactly.
We got the highest titles, and of course for the men we had Amos Serem, who won in the 3,000 steeplechase.
Talking about Cherotich and her age, I think she defeated Diavi.
Yeah.
And Diaby is the Olympic winner.
Yeah, the Kenyan born Bahrain.
Exactly. Now it was a Kenyan fair, though the Diaby runs for Bahrain. So it's amazing to see a young lady of such age, like being on top of the world, like representing the Kenyan flag and the Kenyan people, and just winning such feats. And it's something that's so amazing.
Right, for me, I think it's the consistency for me about her. Because like in the Olympics, she finished third, and for the Olympics, that's a big stage.
Exactly.
So you might talk about just that experience of going to the Olympics. You never know who you're playing, but she's been really consistent. The Diamonds League that she's been running. For me right now, she's the Kenyan athlete to look out for in the 3,000 meters steeplechase for women, because obviously her compatriot Chepkoech Beatrice, who's the world record holder, actually has not really been on her A game.
Exactly.
So Faith Cherotich is the next star, 100%.
Let's talk about Wanyonyi briefly. And another young man, 20 years of age, and just dominating in the 800 meters races. And I saw yesterday other athletes were praising him so much, and it was so humbling for me, and I believe to himself also, because at that age and doing whatever he's doing, we saw him in the Olympics. Came out to the gold, one of the people came out to the gold medal. Right now, even continuing the form, even the Diamond Leagues, and it is just amazing to see that young people are coming up. A new crop of athletes are coming up that replace the old ones that we're used to, And it's something that shows that we have a lot of talent when it comes to athletics, and it's amazing for the country.
Right. For me, running, I know we have no problem, because there's always somebody coming up. I think I said earlier he was the only male. Actually, there are two now. Emmanuel Wanyonyi for the 800 meter and Amos Serem for the 3,000 meter.
Exactly.
And I love that they're just still young, and so there's a lot of potential. We've got the World Athletics obviously coming next year, 2025. I believe it will be in Tokyo, if I'm not wrong. And so, this for you to close the season, because now the season has ended for the track event. So to close the season and now rest, and now New Year comes in, now you prep for the World Championships. And if you finish the season in that kind of form, you're resting, your body is good, you're just resting, maybe light jogs here and there. Then you say, you're ready for a new year and a new season. So,
amazing.
It's exciting.
And the footballing part can borrow a leaf from the athletics on how to bring in a new crop of players, quality crop of players, not just new players. It's not enough just bringing in new players. They should be quality enough to carry the Kenyan flag and everything. So I think the football side could borrow a leaf from that. Because we've had this long-term problem whereby I think our coaches don't trust these young people. That somebody has to get to the age of 25 and more to be able to get a place in a team. I know many people don't talk about this, but that is the thing. Even if you look at our national side, and most of the players who are playing at 25, at least 24 and above, you can count the numbers who are 24 and below. I think one or two, because you have people like Madada who are very young but don't get a chance to represent the team. He's in the, most of the time at the bench, but not in the first 11. So I think the footballing side can get a leaf from that to trust young players to perform. Because the moment we give them, we trust in them, they surely will bring their A game. Because when you're still young, you still have a chance to grow and learn a lot within the trade, during the trade. So I think the footballing side, what we are they are up to the task. So I want us to jump into the game of the weekend in Kenyan soil. The two games that made headlines in the weekend, and that is the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup. Whereby we started with the CAF Confederations Cup, where we're pitting Police FC and Zamalek. Both from Zamalek comes from Egypt, I think. Zamalek is from Egypt, and Police, which ended in a 1-0 draw. Zamalek winning, of course. And what did you make of a match whereby Police FC it is their first time participating in an international game, and coming out with a 1-0 loss to Zamalek that has been there for the longest time. What do you make of that?
Okay, I will start by saying, first of all, tumongelelea Police FC coming into the CAF Confederation Cup for the first time after having an outstanding season in the FKF last season. But we all say this, that we should not get surprised as in that Police FC are losing. Here we are talking about experience, and when you tumesema Zamalek have been in this competition for like some time. So for me, as I say, Police FC tried that. Zamalek have been there for some time in that competition. So I think hapa experience ndo iliongea na ndo tukaona Zamalek wakishinda hii match. So yeah, it happened that way, na tactically pia unaweza sema Zamalek walishinda. Maybe unaweza point out maybe there were some errors in the team, maybe some minor errors maybe zingekuwa avoided, but of course Zamalek came out on top, and Police FC lost that match. So even though unaweza sema experience really play a role in that, in that match.
And managing just a 1-0 win against Police FC, what do you talk about? What do you say of Zamalek? Do you think that Zamalek is the one which underperformed, or Police FC performed so well? What do you make of that match? When you look at that scoreline at the end of the game, one team that is so experienced in this particular feats, and one team that is a newcomer in this particular feat. It just came into the top flight just the other year. I think last season, but one Police FC, and managing a spot in the Confederations Cup for the first time, and playing against a team in the stature or the magnitude of Zamalek, and just losing 1-0. What do you make of that thing here?
For me, I think first of all, we need to acknowledge the fact that it's not over yet. Exactly. This is just group stage, so that means once they go to Egypt for the return leg, they could still make it out of the group actually. Exactly. If only they can get that scoreline more than 1-0, obviously.
Of course.
But I think for Kenya Police, I'll concur with what Manu has said. It's all about the experience. This is Zamalek, you know. In Africa, one of the biggest clubs in terms of clubs Champions League that you could speak of is Zamalek, and the likes of Al Ahly, the likes of Simba. And so for them going into this game, I'm sure they did not underestimate Zamalek. Neither did perhaps Zamalek underestimate Kenya Police. And so listening into the coach Anthony Kimani, he knows the job ahead is big and it's tough, because for one, you don't have the home ground advantage.
Of course.
I want first to applaud the Kenya Police fans. By the way, that is how you turn up for your team.
Exactly.
They did well, but sasa you're going to an away game. You're going to get more, I'd say, opponent fans, and then we know with the history of Egypt and sometimes how they tend to play. If I take people back to the African Cup of Nations, the game in which perhaps Egypt is at home, they tend to shine laser objects on opponent players. Exactly. So they need to know also that is the kind of ground they are going to. So they need to get their mentality right. They need to go with it confident that they can do something, produce something brilliant. They also need to go into the game knowing that football is 90. Mpira udunda venye wanasemanga, so anything can happen at any particular point. You never know. So Zamalek also should not underestimate Kenya Police. But this is a good experience for Kenya Police. Let them test international football. Once you test that, you will always want to play it, and I'm sure it will help them more also in terms of the FKF Premier League.
Very true. And Rodney, let us look at Kenya Police. Let us talk about Zamalek. These teams from the north, Egyptians. If you look at the fan side, they have so many fans, especially on their home matches. Zamalek has a lot of fans when they go back home. Police does not have that luxury. If you compare the number of fans on Zamalek's side and the Kenya Police, Kenya Police will be very much on a disadvantage. And in addition to what Cynthia said, that they do those lasers on the opponent players, like they are walking into a disadvantage. What do you feel? What if you are a coach? What would you tell your players as a Police FC coach?
I would tell them, okay, first of all, we can say we are a bit proud of their achievement, considering where they've reached at the moment. Yes, they lost their first game, however, there's still a chance for them to qualify. And going into a very hostile ground, if I can say that, all we can tell them is, go in there with your mind, straight, and go there and try to win. It's a 1-0 loss, so there's still a chance for them to recover and qualify for the game. So it's going to be quite tough for them, considering how loud and, as Cynthia said, the laser pointing things. It's going to be a very hostile venue for them, but all they can do is to just keep their minds focused and go to the game and decide we have a chance here that we can capitalize on and try to actually win the game.
And one thing I believe it will be an advantage to Police FC is the fact that in Egypt the pitches are good. At least when they get a good pitch, they can bring up the lion in them.
Wacha nikwambie tusianze kuwa na those kind of excuses at Nyasi, you know, the ground reminds me of Jurgen Klopp, so story ya ground.
But I hope that they'll take that to the advantage because okay, Nyanya is also good right now. I looked at the pitch; it was amazing. But I think those ones are better than this. So at least they'll get a level playing field with them. Whatever they want to do in Nyanya, whatever they're not used to be playing on the Kenyan pitches, at least they can improve on better pitches. Okay. So I'm talking about everything losses at the Sururi ya kupoteza. But let's jump to our games to the next side.
But before, I have something to add. I think I have something to add before tuende kwa Gor Mahia. Naweza sema there's still a chance of police going through.
Yeah.
They just have to take their chances.
Exactly.
As well. Kenya nimesema earlier, experience in play in this match because unaweza pata even the coach Anthony said there were numerous chances that were created in this match and they wasted the chances which costed the team the victory because unaweza pata hii bao ilifungwa in the first half so there was now the second half how mnarudi regroup and now going back to the second half mnacheza sasa going for the win ama even maybe going for the draw now even if because najua uko Egypt it will be very tough na venye umesema fan base ya Egypt it's very hostile nini as in but maybe added advantage pitch itakuwa sawa unajua pitch pitch sidhani kama unaweza sema inaweza kuwa pia a factor.
Exactly, it is a factor,
the smoothness of the ball but pia team pia ina matter. If you take your chances you can proceed to the next stage of the competition.
That is Emmanuel at his best, huh?
Emmanuel at his best.
Exactly. Now let us now jump to the green side now. Gor Mahia.
Yeah.
Losing 3 minutes to Al Ahly, and I felt so bad. I was rooting for Gor Mahia, of course, as a home team in Police FC. But now losing 3-0, do you think it's like the end of the road for Gor Mahia? I know it's group stage still.
Yeah.
But do you think they stand a chance?
You know, that kind of scoreline, if it was 1-0, it would have been a different story. But 3-0, I mean, do you know how many goals you have to score against Al Ahly? And then, you know, their disadvantage already is that we played first leg at home.
Exactly.
So second leg now we are going away again. And this is still in Egypt. So I think for me one big lesson I'm learning is that maybe Kenyan teams will need to do more. Yes, Gor Mahia is known internationally because it has played quite a number of times at the CAF Champions League. But still something is lacking in us. We still lack that sharpness. If you look at the goals that are being scored against us, these are goals that defenders could have done better. We still lack sharpness in terms of finishing our defense, or rather our striking opportunities, the chances that we get, we're not really finishing them. So there's work to be done, but at this point in time, to overturn a 3-0 win,
uphill task.
Mountainous task.
See, this is putting everything into perspective now, just to make sure that you know how difficult it is. How difficult it is. What does that say about Gor Mahia as a team and FKF as a league? You know, Gor Mahia is the best team in the local league. No cap. And you see them losing 3-0 at home in your own turf as the best team in the country. What does that say about other teams or in general, the league?
Yeah, I don't know if any of our teams is really ready to compete in the CAF Champions League and not just compete for the sake of, you know, we've made it, we qualified, we are now competing. No, but really competing and taking time to learn your opponents. Obviously, they've got a technical bench that does that job. But you know, as a player, you have to go above and beyond as well.
Exactly.
You don't just do what, or at least what your technical coaches will come and say, you know, mark this person, this is how they play, this is how they run. No, as a player, you also need to go above and beyond. That means you need to have watched at least 5 matches of Al Ahly prior to that game as a defender, so that you know who's their best man.
Exactly.
You know, how do they move?
Exactly.
What sort of player are they? Kuna wale players who are best in left foots, there are those who are best in right foots. Kuna wale wa kuhead, kuna wale who are key passes. So you need to go above and beyond. I don't want to discredit their players and say maybe that is not what they do. But if you look at the goals that were scored against us, maybe something like that contributed to us losing. Also the question on perhaps how we hype our local teams as well. You know, this game, for me, what I saw is ilianza kuadvertisiwa online, was it midweek? Is when now people are making noise about it. We needed to have started earlier, maybe even 2 weeks earlier, and say, you know, God is playing. If it's one of the best teams in the country, I'm 100% sure more people would have gone to watch Gor Mahia than how many people, how the turn-up was. So we can do better. For the fans, I have no problem, because I know they can really be there and turn up for the team. So now it's a question of if we go now to Al Ahly, so what are we going to do that will be different from what we did this weekend?
You know, this is a game, this is a match that I was like neither cold nor hot, because on one hand, I'm an Isirofa fan. On the other hand, I'm a Kenyan. So I was neither cold nor hot. I don't know whether I should laugh at them or feel bad because they're representing Kenya. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, you know. It matters of the heart and the team you support. But now, we're God scared about this particular fixture, because I believe by the 17th minute they were 2-0 down. If I'm not wrong, was it 17 or later in the first half they were already 2-0 down? Yeah. Do you think they were scared because at the end of as the game progressed, maybe they became more tighter and more stronger? Do you think they were scared in the start of the game?
For me, I can't say they were scared, because they started well that match. Walianza na chances. They are also a strong team. Maybe scared. You can use that term scared because of the opponent. Of course, the opponent is it's a good side. Experience also talks in that match. But I can't say scared, because they also showed their side. They also showed they were strong. They didn't back away from the challenge. But of course, unajua sasa the other team won, and it just happened that walifungua that early in the match. So that's how you can now use that term scared, because of the time those goals were scored. But nilikuwa naona pia they tried, Kogalo tried, but ni venye tu Al Ahly, they are a good side. And also they also had their kulikuwa na fan base yao pia ilikuwa.
Yeah, I saw that, and
so the atmosphere was electric. Their fans and also our fans. So unajua pia hiyo atmosphere ilikuwa electric. It was so electric, and pia also trying to find to play with the atmosphere, because now kuna kwangana that 12th man, which is the fans. So unapata pia it was difficult. But you can't overrate Gor Mahia. Of course, this is a big loss for Gor Mahia. 3-0 at home, that's a huge loss. But they didn't go down as in EVO at they scared, because also in the second half they tried their best. They had chances, but in the end they lost the game, and it's now over to the second leg. And the second leg, I know it will be tough, but we'll just see how it will end up.
There's one mention, this a particular name that was mentioned about, there's a player called Morrison from Ghana playing in Gor Mahia. That was the notable mention that I saw people praising so much. And this one tells you that, do you think that maybe it is high time we go the Tanzania way, whereby we attract, or we just the team side international players to the local clubs? Because if you look at that particular game, the person who stood out was Morrison. Is Ghanaian. Exactly, Ghanaian. And do you think the local players, it is high time maybe you go the Tanzanian way, so that maybe you can make the league more attractive and more competitive when it comes to such matches? Or do you think we should stick with the local players? Because I feel like Tanzania is a very good reference. Because if you look at the moment right now, at a club like Simba, we can place it ahead of Gor Mahia. A club like Azam, we can speak of Yanga, they're ahead of Gor Mahia because they bring in foreign players, quality foreign players to their league and their teams, and we are seeing them perform. They're not just on the male side, even on the female side. The same thing is happening in Tanzania. Do you think it's high time we employ the same tactic to make sure that our league becomes vibrant? Maybe our local players will increase their game, will improve their game, because when they see somebody from different countries playing in this particular level, I should even improve myself to that particular level to be at par with them. Do you think it's high time we go that way?
There's nothing wrong with going that way, because if you look at all top flight leagues, anywhere, whether it's African continent or beyond, they have that mix. It brings a lot of vibrance to your country. It brings quality to your teams. The problem with Kenya is not even going for players of different countries. The problem is, are we able to sort them out in terms of salaries? That's the biggest problem. Because if you look at the issues that our local teams have, even AFC in itself is running a risk of losing their bus.
Exactly, on auctioneers.
Yeah, because we did not pay somebody their dues.
Exactly.
Gor Mahia had the same issue. And so I tend to feel like, normally I think we're just we're going up above what we are able really to do in terms of, if I'm going to take Rodney to come play from my team, and Rodney is from maybe Ghana, you know, I'm able to really afford paying Rodney, and to make sure that once our contract, you know, is done with, that I don't owe him any money, and that he won't take me to court, or they won't come and auction my bus. Can you imagine one player, just one, can cause a whole team financial mess and financial stress? And
it happened with Gor Mahia. You know, their bus was taken a while ago, before they received the new one from the former CS.
Yeah, so Kenyan teams, already we don't have sponsors that can really support the Kenyan teams, whether it's FKF Premier League or the NSL. And so for a Kenyan team, especially in the top two leagues, to go and take a foreign players, they need to make sure that they won't have any issues, contractual issues especially, which might cost the team more than they actually have or own.
I love that point, because I want us to talk a little bit about that point and in investment in our teams. Do you think, what is the problem with the finances in our clubs, in our local clubs? Because I feel like there are so many ways of financing a club, apart from the sponsors. I think that at least our teams, they are either lazy, or just scared of taking the next step or the risk. Because I feel like, the other day I was looking at the FC Leopards when they were launching their sponsors, especially their shirt sponsor. And the sponsors, they said something. They said, because the fans were asking, where are the replica jerseys for the fans? And the sponsors were like, at the moment, we've not produced enough for the fans. Yeah, we are still in the process of producing them. So later on in the league, we'll have to bring them, because they were talking about, we cannot rush to do the jerseys. We need quality, not just quantity. That's what they were talking about. And I feel like such things should be done before the league starts. So what does it talk about? What does it say about the professionalism of our teams? Are we professional enough? What is the problem? Where are we falling short when it comes to generating funds for our clubs?
I think in terms of maybe, I don't know if I can say sales or the social media part, because if you compare with the European counterparts, like let's say Man United releasing a kit, you can see they do it in phases. You'll see it in like either 2 weeks before or like a week before they're launched.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of hype that is generated even before the kit itself arrives. And even when it comes, there's a lot of people who have the information, you know, either where you can get them or the various options in terms of what you can buy, whether it's a fan version or a player version.
Yeah.
But if you compare on our side, you rarely get such information. As in, if you are asked right now, where can you go buy an AFC Leopards kit? You have no information. I've got my hair kits. There's no specific outlets for where you can acquire some of these things. Another problem we have is, I don't know if I can say management of funds or just corruption in general. There's a lot of money that is being lost or spent where it is not supposed to be spent. You know, we rarely look after our players, you know, either in in terms of their accommodation or their kits. You know, where they stay,
You mentioned something about mismanagement of funds with our clubs, especially when it comes to gate collections. I've had such stories for the longest time because I feel like a lot of money is lost for the people who collect the money for the gate collection, because some money comes in and somebody puts it in their pocket, and it has been happening for the longest time. Even in our local, forget even the top flight league in our country, even these local leagues. I got to watch these matches, my local matches from the area I come from, and I see what happens at the gate. I've been there.
Yeah. I support a team in Division 2 called Kitengela All Stars FC, and they also have gate collection. The problem with gate collection is that the person you put at the gate also wants to be paid, which it's all their right after all. So you've given them that particular job.
Exactly. Yeah.
But now they look at what you've collected, they want more. They say, this is what we collected, why don't you give us a bit more? And there'll always be people who are just greedy, at most greedy. And so for me, I think what I would chip in addition to what Rodney has said in terms of local teams, what they can do, I think we just lack structures.
Exactly.
I don't know if the teams have got departments, that are solely based on sales and marketing. A department of somebody who's not just willing to sell you a shirt, but somebody who's also willing to go outside to look for money.
Exactly.
You don't just depend on gate collections. There was one time I saw FC had a game and they collected about 2 million shillings just on gate collections. That's nothing. It's nothing, because you've got a team of maybe 22 players. You've got a technical bench. They need salaries to be paid. You've got other people within the team perhaps also need to be paid. So if you take at 2 million shillings just for one gate collection and you say, oh, now this is a big day, we've been able to net in some money, that's literally nothing.
Exactly.
So it's all about structures in the club, from the management to the support staff, who are really willing to be able to go out and source for money. Because sponsors don't just come to your depot. You need to go out and get sponsors.
Exactly.
You need that convincing power. You need to also show them our account books. This is the audit. This is how much money we got last year. This is how much money we spent. This is the loss we made.
Exactly.
But I think that's the biggest problem we have. Our account books are not clear.
Exactly.
They are not clear.
Lack of transparency.
Lack of transparency. No sponsor will want to go into a team where there's no transparency, or a team that you're not willing to admit that you made a loss. But those sponsors love to know that you made a loss. It makes them know, okay, now this is where I can come in and help. But if you want to record that you've just been making profit, or this is money that is coming in, it is going out, you're not specifying the loss that you're making, no one's going to sponsor you.
We are called the pay bill clubs. But now, listen. There's something here I want to talk about, because I've had it for the longest time, especially on the team I support, FC Leopards. There was this argument that it's either our teams charge a less amount on game days than what any other team could charge, on gate collection, because like literally on FC Leopards, most of the time I see on the regular side, the regulars pay 200 shillings per fans, and the VIP is either 500 to maybe 700. It goes along. Do you think that's another problem? Because I feel like if we need to generate enough income on match days, if that is what we are depending on, maybe we should increase the charges for the games. And somebody else argues that. It is better you charge less and get more fans than charge more and get limited few fans. What do you think? What do you make of that?
I think it's give or take. It may go absolutely very well for the club, or it may go absolutely very badly for the club. So it's just give and take. You need to also look at perhaps where you're playing as well. You don't charge me 200 shillings, and you've gone to play, let's say, okay, I'll just use the example of right here in Nairobi. You've put a game on Friday and you're charging 200 shillings. People are working. Who's going to come to watch? So also, I know there are fixtures in place, but I think I wouldn't really agree with the argument that if you charge less, more people are going to come. For a person to come, wakukuja tu atakuja. Whether your game ni 100 ama game ni 400, wakukuja tu atakuja. So charging more does not mean less fans, or charging less does not mean more fans. It's just a question of whatever you collect, are you able to put it into good use, and are you able to ensure that there's little to no mismanagement?
And funds are a very big factor when it comes to football, or any other organization, because funds are a very big factor. And one thing I feel like, I might be wrong on this, I think the one party that is supposed to help the teams and is not doing its work is the FKF. Because if you look at our league, I don't think FKF advertises enough for our leagues. I don't think it does enough. We just come from.
If FKF itself is having funds issues.
And it's not because the FKF does not have funds, it's because of mismanagement of funds. The same thing, because FIFA at the end of the day, every particular season or year, FIFA remits a number of remits funds to the respective federations in the whole world, and you don't see where our money goes to. You don't see that in this country.
So imagine the organization that is supposed to be in charge of you has that issue. Some issues may just also trickle down to the other clubs. But as you've said, FKF plays also a critical role. For me, I love to benchmark as well in EPL, in La Liga or whatever. FKF, or at least EPL in itself, will go out, or at least will get sponsors who, whatever money they bring is distributed across all the teams in the EPL. Top right, Yeah. Then now you also have teams and the sponsors they go for. But there's always one consistent sponsor, and also the contracts matter. Me, I look at the kind of sponsors we send, and I'm looking at a 1-year contract, 6 months contract. I mean, come on, this is a football club, Why don't you put in a 2-year, 3-year contract? What's the harm with that? So also that contract is really important. Yeah, there may be other legal issues, in terms of whether or not a long contract is okay or a short one, but we need sponsors that are willing to just come in and pen a 3-year deal, with FKF. And then say, okay, I'm going to be the sponsor, for these teams for 3 years. You'll have helped the team.
And there's something I want to talk about here, and I feel like maybe it may be controversial, maybe not controversial, or maybe I'll be attacking the teams and they don't have that capacity. There's something called the ticket season holders. Season ticket holders, sorry. It happens, Komaju, and I think even in Tanzania it happens. Because, I prefer that model, because at the end of the day, when somebody pays for the whole season ticket, maybe for the home games, you have enough money to plan for the whole season, maybe, But this model that we have, that people pay at the gate or just a week before the gate, so you're not sure how many fans are going to turn up for the game. But when you have a season ticket holder, he pays for the whole season for the match games, and you're sure now this is the budget I have, this is the whole amount I have, and that will keep consistency for the fans for a game day, and also the amount that they're going to have. What do you think about it? Or is it not possible because you don't have individual teams do not have their home grounds? Do you think that can work in Kenya?
Why not? Why not? If you're able to get people that you're 100% sure are for the club, it boosts you a big deal. And I agree, season ticket holders, that is something we need to embrace. Even for us as fans, if somebody asks me, I say I'm an FC fan, but am I a season ticket holder? Am I willing to go to at least 70% of the games they play? Because I may not go to all, but am I willing to go to 70% of them? And so it's also, it's a huge thing that we need to consider, but a fan will only commit to a club if they know there's a proper system and the money will not be mismanaged. Because if you want me to be a seasoned ticket holder, I need to understand that, that club has no issues with audit questions. They'll do the right thing.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, and everyone, Manu and Rodney, for that particular part. It's amazing because at least most of us have got to learn about some things as far as local football is concerned. Because at the end of the day, we need to push our local league. This is Kenya. We are Kenyans first, then we go outside. Because I'm always, I feel so bad when I see people shouting about Manchester and running around, and nobody's supporting EFC, nobody's supporting Gor Mahia, nobody's supporting Police FC, nobody's supporting Tusker. And we should first embrace and learn to support our teams first before we love the other. So I encourage you, the people who are watching us outside there, adapt a team, support that team in the local level that we support the teams from outside. I've come across people who support Yanga and Simba in Kenya, and if you ask them about what team do support locally in Kenya, they even don't know about any team in Kenya. It is so sad. It is so sad. That shows that how Tanzania is growing so much than Kenya, because if you get a Kenyan fan supporting Yanga in Tanzania, it is so sad. I knew somebody who traveled from Kenya to Tanzania on Simba Day. They had a Simba Day the other day. Somebody traveled from Kenya to go to that Simba Day. So because that person supports Simba. It is so sad that something like that.
I think we just need to adopt the culture that we can be some great football fans if we want to. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, let us now jump now to the Ugaibuni part now, where I know there is so much flakes and fires and flames that are going to happen here. Now,
before to end the Ugaibuni, can I go through the FKF results?
Oh, sorry, yeah, please, briefly.
Quickly before to end the Ugaibuni. These were the matches that happened over the
weekend.
Yeah, match week 2. I have Nairobi City Stars and Bidco United. It ended on 1-1 draw. Then we have Sofapaka FC 0 and FC Talanta 1. And then Kariobangi Sharks 3, Tusker FC 2. That's an interesting one. And then Bandari FC 1 and Mara Sugar 0. Yeah, and then Kakamega Homeboys 0, Mother United 0. That ended on a 0-0 draw. And then Muranga Seal 0, KCB FC 2. And then the last game was FC Leopards 0 and Posta Rangers 1. That's another interesting one. So those are the matches that happened match week 2 of the FKF.
Thank you so much, Manu. Do you have the table?
The table, yeah, I can go through the table standings. Number 1 is KCB FC, number 1 with 4 points. Then number 2, Kariobangi Sharks with 4 points as well. Number 3, Bandari FC, 4 points. Number 4, Posta Rangers, also 4 points. Then number 5, AFC Leopards, 3 points. Number 6, Mara Sugar with 3 points. Number 7, FC Talanta with 3 points. Number 8, Tusker FC with 3 points. Number 9, Muranga Seal with 3 points. Number 10, Bidco United with 2 points.
I can just stop there. I think the top 10, the top 10 is what matters. Eh?
Another interesting point is Gor Mahia FC and Police FC
have not played
any match of FKF. Yet there are some teams
below them. And they've played 2 games.
Yeah, and I won't mention them. So
what do you feel like? You are trying to mention Mother United. Is Mother United there?
No. Mother United is number 14.
Oh, it won this weekend.
Yeah, it hasn't won a match. It has drawn 1 and lost 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, at least a point.
So, yeah.
So literally, Gor Mahia just watching them and just laughing, because they know they are the lions in this league, so they'll be coming for the crown.
Yeah.
Hopefully, because I saw during their match there was a placard written, when we lose this game, FC will pay for it. So let us hope they will pay for it. Now let us go now to the European football. Let us jump to the European football, because there are so many matches. Let us talk about the top leagues, which is of course the English Premier League. We have La Liga and we have the German Bundesliga. Yeah. And maybe you can touch on Italia if time allows. But let us start from the La Liga. Because I want to talk about 2 particular matches. Is it 2 or 3? Very fast before you go to the EPL, because I know the EPL, we have so many stories about it. Now I want to talk about especially to the match Girona against Barcelona.
Okay.
It ended in a 4-1 scoreline. Barcelona won 4-1. I want us to talk about Girona. Girona last season it was one of the teams to watch.
Yeah.
It performed amazingly well. They finished at number 2 or 3.
I knew Madrid won.
Madrid won.
Yeah. So, but I knew Girona had an outstanding season. I don't know their striker who was playing there. Even Arsenal were linked to that striker. So, yeah, they really played well. There was a time they beat Real Madrid, if I'm sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, they had a fantastic season, but yesterday
they lost against Barcelona. Let's talk about Girona now. They are losing to Barcelona, coming from a season that they performed dismally well. What does this show for Girona? Is it a case of Leicester? What happened to Leicester the other some years back, or? Because I feel like Spain should not be called a farmers league, because there's only competition between 2 teams, or maybe sometimes 3 because of Atletico. But now, last season we saw the emergence of Girona, and people were so happy about it, because they were saying at the long last, Spain is turning out to be now a good league rather than a farmers league. But now we are seeing a team like Girona, which performed, I think, against they also won against Barcelona last season, and right now Barcelona beating them 4-1. What does it tell you about this team?
For me, all I can say is I think Barcelona have started the season really well. Under Hansi Flick, they have won matches in a big way. This one is a big win. When you mention Girona, I think beat them last season. So beating them, Barcelona beating Girona, I think it's a statement made for Barcelona, and Barcelona has a decent team. It's a strong team. Kiangalia lineup ya Barcelona, speaking of striker like Lewandowski, who is still performing well despite the age, is still a world-class striker. You have Rafinha, Dani Olmo, Lamine Yamal, who is coming up very well. So the squad is really healthy. It's really, despite I heard that Dani Olmo might have injured, might have get injured, but it's a strong squad. I am hearing that Gavi is also returning. I've seen a glimpse of him training with the team. So it's a strong team. Maybe defense ndo unaweza question kidogo, but you can't overrate Barcelona and you can't overrate what Hansi Flick is doing in this team. Of course, unajua sasa it's a rebuilding stage. A new manager, a new system, but so you can say this is a rebuilding stage whereby he's rebuilding this team. And ukiangalia venye wameanza season winning big, sijui ni timu gani yenye wameshinda with a big margin. So you can, of course, Girona unaweza sema walikuwa na a good season last season, but you can't always overlook Barcelona hivyo pia. So I can say Barcelona ndo was strong in this match.
Yeah. Let's talk about Real Madrid. I think, what do you feel about Real Madrid? Because this is a team that on paper is a very good team, especially the forwards. And I feel to myself that they're underperforming. I know they won against Sociedad on a 2-0 scoreline, but both are penalties. And this forward of, you have Mbappe, you have Vinicius Junior, you have Rodrigo, you have Endrick on the other side. What does it say about Real Madrid? And now we are seeing the reemergence of Barcelona. Do you think the chances for Real Madrid clinching ama kutetea ile taji lao la Liga is it becoming manageable day by day?
I mean, they've just played 5 games into the season, so anything can happen in between. But I'm actually looking at the goal difference. Barcelona have scored 17 goals so far, 5 matches into the season, while Real Madrid is third, having scored just 9 goals. So already there's an 8-goal difference gap, which is very crucial because we tend to see in this particular league that things tend to spice up almost at the end. There's always that points difference that comes into play. But back to Real Madrid. So, you've signed Kylian Mbappe. The expectations are high.
Exactly.
Everyone looks at your team on paper and they go, wow. You've got Vinicius Junior there. We've got Rudiger on defense, a very solid defense that has been consistent.
Exactly.
I believe almost the last season, the whole of last season, they were very consistent with the defense that starts. And so on paper, it's a good team. But I'm also starting to question whether or not they needed Kylian Mbappe. That's what now I'm starting to question.
Exactly.
Did they really need Kylian Mbappe? Because how many goals has he scored into the season? And what impact were they hoping that he brings into the club? Well, he may bring, financially he'll bring, obviously people will buy his shirts more, people will want to come watch him more. But just focusing on the game, did they really need Kylian Mbappe?
And good question. But also my question is, are they playing him at his right position? Because at the end of the day, you can have a good player, a world beater, but the moment you play them out of position, maybe it brings a problem. And I feel like, do you know, Real Madrid has never has never signed a replacement for Benzema. Mbappe is not that guy.
Yeah, I was even looking at the shirt number, and it just, it doesn't feel like Mbappe. I don't know whether it's because I'm used to him wearing 7 or something, but it just doesn't feel like Mbappe. This is somebody that is so good on the wings.
Exactly.
How about we try him on the wings? So I'm thinking what Carlo is juggling between is, do I bench Vinicius and put Mbappe there, or do I just start? Because so these are all guys that play well. So he does not want to lose one person because they know how critical it is. So that's why we are seeing the position Mbappe is sort of playing almost like a false number 9 sometimes. And so I would really love for Carlo to just have faith and trust that one day he can bench either Vinicius or Kylian, and then bring in for that particular position and just see how that works out. But it's not to say they've not started the league in the best way they would have wanted.
Exactly.
And if I go back to 2022-2023 season, this is how Barca started and they won the league.
And sorry, Rodney, I'm coming to you.
Okay.
Are they trying? I'm wondering if they're trying to do a Cristiano Ronaldo with Mbappe, because that's what Cristiano happened. Coming from Manchester as a winger, then going to Madrid and transform into a striker. Maybe they're looking into that. Or Rodney, what do you want to say?
Possibly, because if you remember last season they had an outright striker, but I think he left on loan.
Yeah, Josil. He's called Josil.
Josil.
Yeah.
But he left, I think, on loan, or he was sold. I'm not really sure, but it puts them at a very precarious position. As Cynthia has said, do you bench Mbappe or do you bench Vinicius? But then again, they don't really have an outright number 9.
Exactly.
So they're in a very hard position, but I believe we can trust in Carlo to kind of either integrate both of them into the team, or just find out who will work out better, whether it's Mbappe on the wing or Vinicius as their false 9 or the actual number.
But because even on the left side, he has good choices. He has either Enrique or Rodrigo. So it's like it's a very big problem. I feel for Ancelotti. As much as we know that he's a person with a lot of experience. He has coached numerous sides. He's won different feats with different teams he's played for. But at the end of the day, when you have a number of players, star players at your disposal, sometimes it becomes difficult to choose a first 11 from them, and so, because it can also bring dissatisfaction among some players who feel like, I should be starting. Why starting this one here? Because both of them are like star players or leaders, and I believe Carlo Ancelotti will bring out the best from them. Because if you look at a team like Barca. They didn't go for big names this time. The transfer window. They trusted in the academies and they brought up the young players from La Masia, and it's working for them. These are not star players. Like three years ago, we didn't know of like Yamal. You know, and they are brought in from the academy. And they're doing so well. That's what we need that's what maybe you expect from Real Madrid, but you see, you never see much from the Real Madrid academy. You don't see that. So maybe it's something they should be looking at, instead of starting these galactical players. Because then I feel like football is evolving into a different side tactically and everything. So I think it's high time Real Madrid adapted to what football is doing right now. The era of Galacticos is gone. I feel like that. That's one of the problems that was ailing Manchester United. You sign big name players and they come in, they fail to gel well with the rest of the team. So I think that era is gone. I think it's high time these teams adjust the current football, whereby Guardiola just brought everything changing. Guardiola changed everything literally. Now let us now jump ship to I think. To Italy a little bit. I want us to talk about Juventus, because it's one team that I feel like we should talk about, because it disappointed me a lot. Because I nearly bet wakanipotezea pesa, and I was very angry, and I feel like we should talk about them. Juventus in Italy, it's one of the teams that we expect to be performing week in, week out. Because it's one of the top teams in Italy. When we talk about AC Milan, Inter Milan, and maybe to an extent Atlanta. But now, a team like Juventus, I think it drew against Empoli, exactly, Empoli. This is a team this is a fixture that you expect Juventus to win if they need to compete against a team like AC or Inter, who in the recent years, we have seen them improving, coming up. What do you talk about Juventus?
Juventus, all I can say is, I think transition your coach. Thiago Motta is the coach, and I think tangu hiyo time ya Cristiano Ronaldo could lose, and then another factor pia ni after pia other teams wameanza kushinda hiyo Scudetto, imeaffect, kuna venye tu imeaffect Juventus. Kenye naweza sema ni wamekuwa inconsistent. Unajua they are trying numerous styles of play Italy, and also the reemergence of other heavyweights. Sasa wame-emerge. Unajua tumejua Juventus as the heavyweight of Serie A, because they have been winning this Serie A title for years. After point, it's Inter winning, Napoli are winning, AC Milan winning, now Inter have won the last one. So wameenda chini sana. Hatujajua Juventus sasa hivi venye tumewajua kitambo. Enzi za Pirlo, enzi za nani, easy times za Cristiano Ronaldo, hii time alijoin. They were really Dybala. So Chiesa ameenda Liverpool. They are losing. Morata pia alitoka.
Exactly.
As in they have been down. I mean, kama it's a downside thing, and hopefully tutaona maybe improve, because tunaweza sema tu ni season imeanza. Venye tu tumesema na Real Madrid. Wameanza na draws, tumeona, but here Juventus, it's somehow something to say, because it's a back-to-back draw, nil draws, no one is scoring. So I think there's something wrong, and the coach should get things right.
And coming at the back of losing maybe their star players, if you look at a player like Chiesa, the profile of Chiesa, losing Chiesa because I feel like they signed a certain player, and now they're releasing players like Chiesa, you know. This has been a loyal player to this team. Chiesa is still in his prime. He's not a washed player. Why lose somebody like Chiesa? And you see, and if you look at the results right now, last season you are not able to clinch the Scudetto, and now you're losing somebody like Chiesa. What does it tell you about the management of Juventus? Do you think they are to blame also?
Because Chiesa was not featured most of the time in the team. After the injury that he had, unapata ilikuwa hard sasa kumrudisha, because maybe other players wame attack like Nico Gonzalez. Of course kuna Vlahovic sasa ndo amekuwa star wao, their striker, and kuna Milik. So unapata tu ni some things the coach is trying, because Milik wants to start. Sijui kama maybe anawachezesha wote wawili, kama anacheza na strikers wawili, or unaweza ona tu pia ni it's a style of play he's trying. And of course they have signed Douglas Luiz. I've not seen most of Juventus matches, but I've not seen like as in wame play vizuri.
The impact,
na ukiangalia now this back-to-back draws, a team like Juventus should not be drawing back-to-back, and they have a healthy team like Douglas Luiz join Juventus, because Juventus wamemwona is a star player. Nule difference is that difference when amekuwa Aston Villa, coming to Juventus, they should make the difference in the midfield. Ukona players like Thuram, Locatelli.
Exactly. I was talking about Thuram. But now listen, what happens to your mind, or what do you think when you want to sell a player, you feel like this player is surplus to my requirements, then a team like Liverpool wants to sign that player as a manager, just the management of Juventus. Do you release such a player? If you see a team like Liverpool, a team that's so good and still wants a player from you that you deem surplus, do you think they should have maybe had a second thought about this player in Chiesa?
You know, it's not about whether or not Liverpool wants a player. It's a question, does the player want the move? If a player has been playing for Juventus, or I hear they say Juventus, and then Liverpool comes and wants them, you know, as a player now, it's a question of, do I stay here? And if I stay, am I able to impact the team more? Or do I go to Liverpool and work under new management, a new culture, experience something new?
At least win something.
Yeah, it's down to the player, because if you look at most of the players, at least I'd give an example, like for some of the players who are at Chelsea, the club wants them to stay, but the player wants the move, or at least wants a better salary, or just feels like maybe this new coach I may not be able to fit under the new coach. So there are so many factors that play into whether a player moves from a club to another or not.
I was thinking about, I almost laughed when you mentioned Chelsea, because I think one thing a player should be scared about Chelsea is, will I get a chance to play, because we only need 11 players on the field.
Hey,
Now let us jump around to the EPL now, right about time, huh?
Yeah.
Does anyone have the fixtures? The results of the Rodney? Can you please mention to us the results first, the weekend results?
So for the first game of the weekend, we had Man United against Southampton, and Man United won 3-0. Brighton had a draw against Ipswich, 0-0. Crystal Palace 2-2 against Leicester. Fulham 1-1 against West Ham. Liverpool lost 1-0 to Nottingham. Man City won 2-1 to Brentford. Aston Villa won 3-2 against Everton. Bournemouth lost 1-0 to Chelsea. And yesterday we had, let me check, Tottenham.
Newcastle.
Arsenal.
Manu, please keep quiet.
We had Arsenal winning 1-0 against Tottenham and Newcastle winning 2-1 against Wolves.
Manu, switch off your mic. Let us start with the first game of the weekend, that is Manchester United against Southampton. And because I feel that match was very important for this team, because I'm talking about Manchester United, because coming from back-to-back close against Brighton and Liverpool, they needed that international break to remind them who they are, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it worked for them because coming now from the two back-to-back close and winning 3-0 against Southampton away, what does it tell you about Manchester United? And if you watch that game, what difference did Ole Gunnar Ten Hag, what different tactics did he employ that he didn't do in the previous games? The previous two games, that is.
The first and most obvious thing that we can say we noticed from the game is he opted to play Eriksen in place of Casemiro, which was a bit expected, but then again not expected, because personally I was not expecting Eriksen to start. I was expecting either Casemiro or Collier, maybe one of them. But we saw him coming in to play kind of a deploying playmaker role, which actually worked. And we can say congratulations to Ten Hag. But going back to the international break, we also saw Man United players shining. You know,
exactly, they did so well. They did so well.
We saw, apart from the lips, kind of, but we kind of saw people questioning his defending at Netherlands, and we saw people blaming him for the 2 goals that they conceded. But he came back to Man United and he kind of proved himself. He proved his worth, and he showed why, you know, Ten Hag wanted him and the kind of defender or player he is by scoring a goal. And he had a wonderful game defensively.
And a clean sheet?
Yeah, and also a clean sheet on top of that. And we also saw, Zaxi didn't score, but
lost good chances.
His playing style was, very commendable, and he created a number of chances which, he didn't capitalize on, but he had a very good game overall.
Exactly. Now I want us to talk about something here, Cynthia. Media in Manchester United. Rodney has touched on something that deleting the international break. He was one of the people who was shut down because of the performance he did for Netherlands, costing them, I think, a goal, 2. I think 2 goals in the international break, and coming into this game with Manchester United and providing a man of the match performance. Do you think sometimes media is unfair to Manchester United, to be particular?
Wow, that's a good question. Do I think it's unfair to Manchester United? I think it's just the question on, this is a defender whom is playing in the English Premier League for the first time, is well ahead, getting into the lineup ahead of Harry Maguire.
Of course, anyone can do that.
So obviously they're going to shine a spotlight on Delete, because they'll say, okay, now they've benched Maguire, right? So what is Delete bringing to the table? And I remember, especially for the game against Liverpool, there was a lot of pressure on him, because you're coming from a different league, from a different culture, and boom, there you are, kwa hot soup as soon as possible. So for him to he needed that kind of performance anyway. He needed that for his own morale, and to also show that, he's not just good when he's not playing for Manchester United, but he's just good the same. For me, I'll speak now about the match in itself. This was an important match both for Southampton and for Manchester United. Because Southampton had lost 3 games consecutively heading into this game. Manchester United, on the other hand, had lost 2 games consecutively. So it was just as important for Southampton to get a win, just as it was important for Manchester United. But I think it's just at that moment it was Man U were hungry more. They needed this win a bit more than Southampton. Southampton, of course, are under a new coach as well this season. Actually, they're under a new coach this season. So for them, it's a whole different story because they have to go back to restructure. They've got quite a lot of young players. They've got players like Leslie Ogochukwu, who's on loan from Chelsea. And so are they really able to get out of their own mess? But I think for Man United, this is a huge relief. I mean, there's no other way. You are playing Southampton, who have lost 3 games consecutively. So imagine if they had won against Man United. That would have been a whole different story. So they were the better team. They were more hungry than Southampton. They got the job done, 3 points bagged.
You know, exactly. That is very true. Do you know why I'm talking about the media being unfair to Manchester United team? De Ligt was at Bayern Munich. Before that at Juventus. And he had some bad games in those teams. It was never as amplified as it has been this week for Manchester United. And it has been so much with every player. Look at a player like Pogba. Look at a player like Sancho now. Look at a player like who else? I can speak of Cristiano Ronaldo. Look at a player like who else? There's so many that I can mention. That as long as you are in Manchester United, a slight mistake will bring a very big uproar from the fan base, from either team, not just Manchester United, from either team. That will be ridicule from our opposition team and just abuse from Manchester United fans. And the media also comes in so fast, same way. This coach, Ten Hag, when he was at Ajax, as much as he was performing, there are some games that he didn't perform so well, especially in the Champions League. But right now in Manchester United, whenever a slight problem, the problem is so much amplified. So I feel like sometimes the media is unfair to anything Manchester United. I feel that's what I feel like.
I have something to add on that. You know, over the weekend, okay, we are yet to reach the Chelsea game, but I just want to mention something very minor. Considering that Sancho assisted, a lot of people were out here saying Man United lost their best winger to Chelsea for just 25 million. You know, and this is a very controversial take, but I feel like Sancho was awarded the Player of the Match award kind of to generate clicks and to bring hate to Man United. Because
that makes sense.
Let's be honest, Sanchez was the actual man of the match for that game. True or false?
Who, Sancho?
Sanchez. The goalkeeper.
Sanchez played better.
He deserved the Player of the Match award.
Exactly. I think they were getting back at Manchester. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
I didn't see the point as to why Sancho got the award for, okay, he assisted, yes, but it was a very basic pass.
Exactly.
You know?
It was the winning goal assist.
Okay,
that's so basic. Like anyone will do that.
Majority of the work was done by Nkunku, not necessarily Sancho.
Exactly.
Just played the pass and somehow Nkunku scored. So it's very controversial, whatever is happening in England.
The problem is Manchester has been dominating for the longest time, and it has angered so many people. So people have that bile still in their hearts. And now, let us talk now. Let us talk about first Onana's save. Let's talk about Onana, like in general. Onana got so much ridicule in the last season, and of course in the beginning of this season because the match against Liverpool and Brighton, of course, because people were saying that Onana, any shot on target for Onana is a goal. And him coming to Uganda and their reception for the Manchester United fans, I had Ten Hag said, I think Uganda did something to Onana. Ten Hag said that. He did say that, yeah. And what do you think about Onana in that particular game?
For me, Onana was that penalty save to be in particular. That was the game changer for the whole game. As in New Guys winning, Manchester United winning in general. They have to praise, as in Onana saving, because if that penalty
had gone in,
if that guy could have scored that penalty, it ingekuwa another story. Okay, mungeweza kubounce back, but unajua sasa with all the struggles that you had, ingekuwa a bit harder. But now with Onana saving that penalty, it kind of lifted the spirits of the players at Manchester United. Rashford even scored, so it was a game changer. Onana has been criticized as in tangu during Man U last season, even the Community Shield.
Exactly.
Okay, kuna comment alisema sijui you guys are not ready, so I'll be taking a lot of risks and all that, and that created a lot of buzz in the fan base. As in, you've created a lot of umeshafanya risks zote, as in umefanya mistakes zote, but apart unajua Onana doesn't get that praise because anakwanga overshadowed na the mistakes he makes. Kuna times he always saves Manchester United. Like the shot saves, he's a good shot stopper. Maybe you can question him for the contribution, the passes, because sometimes anaweza kuwa caught with he's playing from the back. That's what I mean. But yesterday, I think he doesn't get that praise, and I think he deserves that praise. Sana hiyo penalty save, that was the game changer of the whole match, and you guys won the game, clean sheet as well. So he deserves all the praise. For me, my point is anafa pati hiyo praise yenye anapewangwa because anakuwa overshadowed na the mistakes. So,
there's something I want to talk about. I think on a lighter note, what is it with Rashford and Ramsdale? I think anytime Rashford sees Ramsdale, he must score. You know, it had taken, I think, almost how many 160 something days before without Rashford scoring. But now he just sees Ramsdale and it's a goal. I think there's something.
If I'm not wrong, I think if I got the statistics right, he's not scored. He had not scored prior to the game. I think in the last 13 or 14 games that he had played and started for Manchester United.
Exactly. And here comes Ramsdale, and he's coached and he has been doing that for us also. Now, let us go now. I want to touch on Chelsea. Now, I think this next year. No, before Chelsea, Man City. Let's talk about Haaland. What is wrong with this guy?
Big man Haaland.
What is wrong with this guy? What is Haaland doing that other strikers are not doing?
Well, people were on Euros.
He was resting.
He was training. He was doing his stuff, preparing for the season. Watu wakiwa huko nje, Euros, Copa America, hizo mambo, international break, sama nini. Yeye alikuwa na train, and as in, okay, banter aside, as in Haaland is a world class player, without a doubt. Na ameprove hii season venye ameanza. He almost scored back-to-back hat-tricks, like for the third time.
Exactly.
Unajua sasa Man City game ya Man City kianza ni highlight na kwanga, will Haaland score another hat-trick? No, sasa imefika hiyo.
Not even just a goal.
Not even at Man City winning or sijui.
Haaland is a hat-trick.
And unajua sasa ina come back to ile point yenye alisema, unajua, of course, was English media, unajua
too noisy.
As in, they will always come up with stories, and I think the pundits and media as a whole, pundits, analysts, watasema, this guy had how many touches during
in a game.
He came out and said, I don't care about the touches. As in, alifika point alisema, even nataka kucheza match moja ile yenye I'll have the fewest touches and score a hat-trick or maybe more goals. So it's not about the touches that he's a striker also, so what do you expect? He's there to score goals, and that's what he's doing. So for me, I think Haaland is just a world-class player in a perfect team as well. We can't overrate Pep Guardiola. He has made him to be that world-class. Pierre Dortmund,
he was a world-class player right from even before Dortmund. He was in this team. He was Norway. I'm forgetting this team. Is it Molde or something?
Yeah, Molde.
Yeah. He was scoring goals.
Making a debut for Borussia Dortmund and scoring a hat-trick.
Exactly.
A hat-trick or 4 goals.
Yeah.
But he scored a hat-trick. Like there's that individual brilliance in him, but as well now what Pep has made him to be in Man City, because Man City have a style of play. Tunajua venye Man City how they play. It's different from how he was playing in Dortmund. But now ukiangalia now that individual brilliance in him, he's a goal machine. That's what I can say. So
right now he's on to 9 goals after 4 matches. The person who follows him has 3 goals. Literally, like Haaland has gone.
Yeah.
Before Højlund comes in. Now listen. I think the difference between Arsenal winning a league ahead of Man City, the difference is Haaland.
Yeah, true.
I think that's a factor. Yeah. That's the one factor that Arsenal does not have. Man City have an edge on now. Forget Man City now because they only have one fan. Now let's go to Chelsea. I want to talk about Chelsea before Arsenal.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Chelsea. Chelsea, so much hype on Jadon Sancho about everything that happened, and finally, at least we are seeing them winning. In as much as it's very minimal margins, but it's still a win at the end of the day. This is different from the Chelsea that we had last season. And we are seeing some glimpses of a Chelsea coming back to where they're supposed to be, because I always say this: a good team is measured by even if they have a bad game, they still manage to come out with 3 points. That's a good team. Doesn't matter how they play. As long as you come out with a win, that's a good team. So let us start with Cynthia. What can you say about your team this season in reference to the 4 games you have played? What do you think about Chelsea?
So 4 games into the season. And the coach is still experimenting 100%. There's no doubt that Enzo Maresca is just experimenting on who should start and who should not. Because if you look at the substitutions that got us the 3 points in the game, these are Jadon Sancho, you've got Christopher Nkunku, you've got Joao Felix. I mean, look at that quality of players, literally, sitting on the bench. And then, Nicholas Jackson begins. I've not even talked about Mudryk, who was also on the bench. So, in fact, I remember as the game was being played, I was telling a friend of mine that Nkunku needs to get into this game. Jackson needs to step out. And so the coach is still experimenting on who to start. Well, for me, I think he's already settled on Madueke starting the games and maybe Nicholas Jackson. But still, there's still a huge, trying to gauge who will start, who will not start, because even if you look at the defense, it was a different phase. If you look at the midfield, was also a different phase. But I think for him, first of all, putting Axel Disasi on right back, that is one mistake that should have gotten him fired. Because he's not a right back. He's a centre back. He's not a right back. Maybe other factors like Malo Gusto is injured, Reece James is still recovering, so he was trying to see who does he put there. But Chelsea, this game, tuliponea, to be very honest, tuliponea, because the number of chances that Bournemouth had, have you ever watched a game you're just like, tungefungwa any minute. And so this wasn't a convincing win. We got the 3 points, yes, but it was not a convincing one. Nile too, it was just a moment of brilliance, Sancho Nkunku goal, but it was not a convincing 100% 3 points game, because Bournemouth could have sailed that game maybe at 2-0 before we could have even maybe scored, or even substitutions were made, but they just also didn't use their chances.
One thing I can say about Chelsea is that Maresca is literally at a lab. He'll be experimenting the whole season.
The last time I was here, he spoke on it as well. And I said, we don't have a consistent first 11.
Exactly.
And he continues to prove me right, by the way. He continues to prove me
but
right.
But I don't think it's Maresca's problem, because you have that number of players in that team. And literally, like, you feel like every player wants a chance to play, to prove themselves. And you're a new coach, you still don't have your first 11. So that one happens.
I'll give you an example. For instance, like at Arsenal, you've got Jesus, Gabriel Jesus now. You've got Leandro Trossard, right? But for Arteta, regardless of how much of a quality you are, yes, you may be the person that comes in and makes the change, and the game now starts. But you see, he's been able to start Trossard, I believe, 2 games consecutively now. But you see, for Chelsea, yes, Sancho gave the pass, Nkunku scored, but there's a possibility they're not the people that will start the next game. And that's where the problem comes in. If this is a player who has shown individual brilliance, has shown brilliance in match game 3, why don't you start them in match game 4? Why do you revert to a first 11 who did not use their chances well, like now Nicholas Jackson, who continues to start despite the fact that he continues to lose a lot of chances? Why don't you give a chance to somebody else? And so that consistent 11, even if it's just 2 games, do it. No player will die for being on the bench for 2 games consecutively, I can assure you. So I was really hoping that Nkunku would have started. Yes, he got the match-winning goal, but and even looking at his celebrations, I think he was trying to communicate something to Enzo Maresca. I saw his celebrations, and I just knew this is somebody that is hungry to start, and he's hoping that he proves a point that he can start the next game and the next and the next.
I think Brazil is just a good father who wants everybody to get a chance.
The Premier League doesn't care whether you're a good father, it's brutal.
And I think the only constant at Chelsea is Jackson and Palmer, so anybody else is replaceable. Now, let us go to Liverpool. You don't have to start with the Liverpool game. I know you're a big rival, and that's why you're trying What can you say about the Liverpool match? Losing to Nottingham Forest. And of course, getting an assist from Manchester as scored by a Chelsea.
Yeah.
It was a...
Made in the stars.
It was
Written in the
made
stars.
in the stars.
Did you watch that game first, man?
Yeah, I watched, I think, the second half of the game. And first of all, very happy, very proud. I saw Elanga put out a post, you know. I came here and, okay, I don't remember the exact words, but he said, I came here and I didn't walk alone and something like that. I don't remember the exact messaging, but you know, the fact that he's a former Man United player and he assisted the winning goal is a very proud moment, considering that they beat us in the previous game. But overall, Liverpool started very well with 3 wins, but I'm not really sure what has happened in between, considering that they were playing at Anfield. Coming into the game, I expected them to win the game comfortably, but Nottingham Forest can be a bit stubborn at times, and clearly they were a bit too much to handle. But I still think Liverpool pose a threat to the top teams, City or Arsenal, in terms of contending for the league, and they still, have a chance to actually win this season.
But I think it was about time, because it shows you that it tells Anslot that you're not you're not a good father here. This is EPL. Yeah. Welcome to the EPL. Yeah,
the biggest damage that Liverpool faced was that their balls were not going into the net. They were just hitting the post. So, I mean, they'll obviously watch back that match. I know they do so. They go through, or they go and watch the whole match just to see what happened, where they went wrong. And somebody like Luis Diaz, somebody like Mohamed Salah, they will be beating their heads on just the balls they had and the reason why they did not go into the net. I mean, there was a point where it was pressure after pressure for Nottingham Forest. Actually, within the first half, to the run-up to the close of the first half, it was attack after attack. And Nottingham Forest, defensively, they were brilliant. I will give them to it. They were brilliant. All second balls, there was a Nottingham man there. All second balls. Unlike, unfortunately, Manchester United, where perhaps the second ball would have been on the feet of a Liverpool striker. So Nottingham, they did brilliant. And the statistics also, this is the first time winning at Anfield since 1969.
Almost 55 years.
Almost 55 years. And then your first win at such a stadium, obviously with the environment, the ambience, the way the fans were pushing their players.
Exactly.
And so it was just also a moment of brilliance from Callum Hudson-Odoi, obviously scoring that kind of game. Actually, in games like this, those kind of goals are the ones that are scored, not the tap-ins or something. No, it's just, are you able to get a good position from the outside of the box and score a goal 1-0? And after that, obviously, the pressure now came back to Forest again, but they handled that pretty well.
And I think as Anslot is breaking all the bad records, and what a moment of brilliance from that run from Elanga in that assist. Did you watch that assist? It was very brilliant.
Yeah, a brilliant. For me, I think that's actually, if I'm able to speak about the goal of the weekend, that would have been my goal of the weekend.
Exactly.
Because with how we know Liverpool can always put a very high line.
Exactly.
And Virgil, of course, Van Dijk slept there for a moment. The ball from Elanga to the foot of Callum Hudson-Odoi, turn inside, goal. And I'm also thinking the goalkeeper, Alisson could have done better. I felt like maybe he assumed the ball was just going to go out. If you see the way he was diving, he just went and maybe removed his hand. I know he could have done better, and he will be beating himself to that result, because he's saved brilliant goals. So how comes he did not save that? But then again, it doesn't take away from the quality of the goal.
Yeah. Amazing. It was amazing for Nottingham Forest, and just to flow. Let's just call them giants. It was amazing for them, and it's something that will give them the morale now for the next matches. And we can be looking at a team that maybe can pose a threat to the top 4. If possible.
But then Nottingham unajua wanakuanga underestimated sana.
Exactly.
They're so good.
They're so good. Right. Yeah. And I just love how they are consistent from the first minute to the last. And I wish Manchester could be playing that way. And it's just a wish anyway. So let us now go to the team. I'm inclined to call. I just feel like calling the Liverpool the Scoozers because I feel like saying that Scoozers. Now I'm satisfied. Now let us go to Arsenal. Let us go to the London Derby, the biggest match of the weekend, whereby so many stories, so many things happened. But before that, I want to talk about Chelsea. Chelsea, how come you got 7 yellow cards? What happened?
7 yellow cards?
Yes.
I think, if I'm not wrong, what was the last game that was played? Wolves versus Newcastle. I think that was the game that recorded the highest yellow cards. But you know, Anthony Taylor, by the way, I have personal beef against that referee.
Actually, I think Bournemouth versus Chelsea had
the highest.
The highest.
It had the highest. Almost. Was it 14?
15.
I have a personal
15.
14.
beef. I have a personal beef with Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor's games. Actually, I was surprised there was no red card or a penalty given because it's always like a guarantee. But that's Anthony Taylor for you.
I was looking at the statistics and I saw the number of yellows and I was thinking, is this the bench or the number of yellow cards? You know,
that's very.
It's a very dirty game.
For me, those yellow cards, I think kuna rule yenye imewekwa ingine mpya ya unakumbuka hii yellow card ya Declan Rice ya ku
pushing the ball away.
Like resisting, as in resist free kick. No, like let's say you foul somebody and then unakuwa penalized for that foul. Let's say you take up the ball, unakimbia nayo. That's a yellow card. I noticed it with Saliba yesterday. As in denying the opponents to
take it quickly.
Yeah, your rule nimeona imekuwa implemented. So I think those, and then other petty cards, easy petty yellow cards for, let's say, decent, ama squeeze hata assistant coaches wanapata yellow cards.
Yeah, it happened with Nane.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Behaving like a playboy.
Yeah, you assistant on Newcastle behaving like a ball boy.
Ball boy, yeah, no playboy.
I was almost having about that one playboy, but anyway.
So they met ball boy.
So squeeze hizo cards. There's a rule. Kuna rule yenye imekuwa implemented in this new season. So unapata, and then players maybe are not aware of it.
Yes, they're catching up.
Sana hiyo Declan Rice ndo ili spark up now that rule. Ndo sasa, so squeeze hii match week nimeona a high amount of cards.
Exactly. Manchester United one started with the red card, and then just it grew to other matches. Now, let's talk about now that game, Arsenal versus Tottenham. This is a match that anybody else would have said Tottenham was supposed to go to run away with this game. This is a match that Tottenham was supposed to win.
Yeah.
Frankly speaking. And I remember before the game I said, if Tottenham does not win against Arsenal, they will never beat Arsenal on one-on-one. They will never be. And this is just a problem with me. What is wrong with Tottenham when it comes to Arsenal?
No, it's just same old story with Tottenham. Dominating the game but not winning. You can say that with Newcastle, was it Leicester? Leicester, they actually scored first. They dominate, and then just out of nowhere, and then Leicester score, and then it just disorients the whole team. I think for me it's just that final third. They do not take their chances. There's no person to shoot. Specifically, I'll talk about yesterday's game with Arsenal. They on a transition vizuri. Actually, I was the one who was holding my heart, as in because I say they were attacking left, right, and center. Now the problem is they are going sideways. When they try penetrating in the middle, it doesn't work. That's one thing I will commend about Arsenal is the defense. Defense Arsenal it's very strong. Actually, game ya jana ndio pro. We have the best defense. in the league. Okay, if not the best, one of the best.
That's just not the best.
Yeah, you can say
okay, now,
the best, or if not the best, one of the best, because Man City also have the best defense. But that back four yesterday, for me, the standard play in that defense, of course, Gabriel scored, Saliba was rock solid. Okay, Ben White ndo naweza sema was somehow hivi because Son alikuwa anamtoanisha, but Timber was solid. That his left side, that guy was solid yesterday. Him na as in hiyo battle yake na Pedro Porro, kina Brennan Johnson wanajaribu, but naweza sema alidefend vizuri sana. But okay, the problem with Tottenham, because that was the question, mimi naweza sema tu ni they are transitioning well. Mna dominate football match like almost 90 minutes because wao ndo walikuwa na the better chances in the game, but you're not winning it. The opponents ndo wanaenda na 3 points. I think the problem ni hapo tu mbele, hapo tu the final third. Instead of taking the chances, mnapasiana. Who wants to shoot? Chukua shoot. No, I won't shoot. You Son anapasia sijui Solanke. I think Solanke ndo mwenye alikuwa na try, but unajua sasa hakuwa anakuwa feeded hizo balls. So yeah, ni hiyo final third ndio shida.
Briefly, I want to introduce a section here. Team of the week. We'll be speaking a team of the week, okay? So before that, I want anybody who has anything to add upon the Arsenal game. Briefly though.
Bado sijamaliza.
Hey. So briefly,
okay, I was talking about the Tottenham side of the game. Now, when I nikiangalia sasa side ya Arsenal, now first things first. We have no Odegaard, no Declan Rice, Merino out injured. So hiyo game ilikuwa ngumu. Even from the look of the whole game, kiangalia the whole match, Tottenham was the one dominating, but now ukiangalia squeezy football, it's not about domination. It's not about at sijui we've dominated, at sijui mume lose, but unasema we dominated the game, so we are good.
The best team lost. The best team lost.
You can say that, but the important thing is the 3 points.
Exactly.
Same case to Chelsea. Bournemouth ndo walikuwa the better side, but now Chelsea won. Unaona ni ile taking your chances. So with Arsenal, and then another thing, set pieces, we are strong. Gabriel won that header, iliingia vizuri. So I think for me, nikimalizia sasa with Arsenal, this was a must-win game, despite it was a derby, sijui nini. Ukiangalia now the fixtures that are coming from now, we have the Champions League game against Atalanta. Tuko na EFL game,
yes.
And then now we have Man City next. So this was a must-win game, so that we can proceed, like ndo tuendelee kuwa na momentum. And yeah, we move on. So I think right now, mimi naona tuko sawa, hata kama Odegaard hayuko, though Ateta alisema atakuwa out for long, but we shall see about that. But I'm happy for the win. Three wins in a row at Tottenham Hotspur. I'm buzzing about it. So it's a big win for Arsenal.
Ni sawa. Hey, thank you.
Just manze usihate. Just appreciate.
Okay.
Manu win, mimi nime appreciate Manu win.
So I appreciate. Congratulations Arsenal for winning against Tottenham. I want to win against Tottenham. Now I want us to go briefly. If anything to say about that game.
All right.
Briefly though.
Yeah, briefly. For me, I'll just speak about Heung-min Son. I'll just say Son. I felt like he really didn't feature so much in the matches I would have expected him to. I don't know whether it was tactically that's what he was supposed to do, but normally I'm used to him getting the ball on the wing, if he's on the wing, coming right back at the center. But there are moments in the game I felt like he will just stay in the wing and not try to come back at the center. I think it was late in the second half is when I saw he now came back to the center. So maybe if he would have Postecoglou would have started him at the center, maybe they would have finished off their chances, because they were getting brilliant opportunities but not finishing up. But Arsenal, moment of brilliance, Gabriel of course rises above and beyond, and he scores that header.
Above and beyond, huh?
I think it was just a brilliant case of taking chances because Tottenham dominated the game, but at the end of the day, possession won't give you the 3 points.
Yeah, true.
You know, so congratulations to Arsenal, as much as I don't want to say it, but anyway.
Yeah, we have been told not to hate. We've been told not to hate, so you're trying not to hate.
Yeah, they won, and on to the next one, Man City. Let's see how it goes.
Let us see how it goes now. My dear viewers, I feel like I should introduce a new section whereby
Team of the week.
we'll be introducing the voting for the team of the week. Now it'll be team of the week according to the scoreboard now. And to our viewers, you are free to challenge any part that you feel like we should have a replacement through our social media platforms. Let us engage. This one will create at least an engagement. We feel what you feel about the team of the week. Now, here guys, so this is what we'll be doing. Everybody will be mentioning about in a particular every position.
Yeah.
Then everybody mentions a player. Then we vote which one is the best to be placed there. So we'll be having and you should be having a pen or a paper. Or my director, you can be putting there on the screen if it's possible. From next time though, because it's an ambush. Now, let us do this. We are voting for a team of the week. Now, I'll start with the goalkeeper. Who do you think carries the goalkeeper of the week?
For me, let me start. Definitely, najua it's between Onana and Sanchez, but for me, I'll go Sanchez.
You go Sanchez?
I'll go Sanchez.
What do you think, Cynthia? Who do you choose?
Yeah, for the two, because they saved, penalties which would have changed the game entirely. So, because of the scoreline and how critical it is, I'll go with the 1-0 Sanchez.
Sanchez.
Yeah.
Who do you choose for the team of the week? Keeper?
Go for Sanchez.
You go for Sanchez? Yeah. I will go for Onana.
Team loyalty.
Not loyalty. He did an amazing job last week. 2 saves. But now because 3 of you have said Sanchez, we are going to have Sanchez as the goalkeeper. So goalkeeper, we have Sanchez. And now let's go to the full-back right. Who do you think works for you in the full-back right?
Right back.
Okay, right back. RB, who do we go with for right back? Who do you... Mkuu?
I'm thinking about it. Because okay, for me, I haven't watched a lot of matches, but I'll pass first. Yeah, let me pass. But I'll come back at it.
Okay, Cynthia, who do you think? Who takes your right back? Right back, who do you think should be taking that position?
All right, for me, I think I'll go with Kieran Trippier of Newcastle. He was very instrumental in that comeback win against Wolves, because down in the second half, they were still 1-0, almost at the 70th minute. And so in between, he was able to really hold on to his side as well as just push his team forward. So I'll go with Kieran Trippier.
Rodney, who do you pick as your...
For me, I'll go for Axel Tuanzebe from Ipswich. I feel like he was very instrumental to, the draw against Brighton. He was rated among one of the best players for Ipswich. So I'll go for him, Tuanzebe.
Who do you go for, Mkuu?
For me, I think I'll just stick to Kyle Walker, back in the team, captain of Man City, and he did brilliantly. I watched the game, so I saw what he was doing, and he anacheza style fulani, that inverted role, and he's doing it so brilliantly. So yeah, I'll go with Kyle Walker.
So who do you go with?
Mazraoui.
You are the deciding vote.
I'm going to go with Mazraoui, of course. I'm going to go with Mazraoui. I think it's brilliant, and we've seen the impact he has had. Not just this game, that from the first game, like you've seen the impact he's brought to that right wing, and I think his combination with Ahmad was very instrumental to get Manchester United performance. So I'm going to go with Mazraoui. Now we have 4 different players. So from those 4 different players, we must get one from our vote, okay? So among those 4, we're starting to change now. We choose between those 4. We have Mazraoui, we have Trippier, we have Kyle Walker, we have Tuanzebe. So from those 4, choose one. Let us start.
For me, I'll choose Trippier.
Trippier?
Yeah, your point here, Cynthia, that like aliingia ka change game. So yeah, I'll go with Trippier.
So Trippier 1 vote,
I still stick with mine then.
Trippier 2 votes.
Mazraoui.
Mazraoui, no, listen. Now you have 2 players. So you have Mazraoui and Trippier. Let us vote those two. Let's get a final right back. Trippier.
Let me tell you, the comeback that they did, because for Manchester maybe it was a sealed deal, 3-0, but for Newcastle they had to really work for it, 100%.
So you have to go. You stick with Trippier.
He was a game changer.
Let us go with Trippier, just for fairness sake. You go with Trippier. So everybody have Trippier, okay? Yeah. You go with Trippier. Let us go to the central CB, but left right central right CB. RCB, who do you go for?
I vote for delete.
You go, delete one vote, Cynthia?
Manu, you speak faster, I think.
Okay, we can analyze the... Okay, he choose team of the week in Itaji analysis, mingi. So...
Can I just do randomly?
Okay, I'll just do random. I'll just go with delete because of lifunga bao na clean sheet, outstanding performance. So yeah, nenda tu na delete.
Okay, I'll do delete.
Delete as well.
The way you are smiling.
Yeah. No, because my vote won't change nothing, so I'm just gonna go with delete. Left centre back.
That's easy.
That's
Gabriel.
easy. Yeah.
Gabriel Magalhaes. Yeah.
Gabi.
I'll also go with Gabi, of course. A goal and a starting a clean sheet.
Yeah.
I'll definitely go for him. So Gabriel Magalhaes. So Gabriel.
Yeah.
Let's go now to the left back. This one is very obvious.
What do
Who
you
do
mean
you
it's
go
obvious?
for?
Huh?
What do you mean it's obvious?
It is obvious. I'm telling you, it is obvious.
Diogo.
I'm going with Diogo Dalot. Not because of being a Manchester. No. Look at the performance. I'm going with Dalot.
No.
That is me, though. Okay.
I beg to differ. Because if you watch the game, you realize he's the one who gave away the penalty, and he had a bit of a shaky first half. So I'm not really sure if I can.
No, I'm sticking to mine. You just go with you. I'm sticking with mine. Who do you go for, Rodney?
Maybe Luka Digne from Aston Villa.
Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, I'll go with Timber. Not because of biasness here.
No, we understand it's not business.
I think he performed. Okay, me nikiangalia hivi of the four defenders in Arsenal, despite Gabriel alifunga and alipata man of the match, I think Timber did a good work in that left flank kuzima hiyo moto ya Johnson.
Na kupanda na kushuka.
Yeah, kupanda na kushuka. I think for me, because okay, it's not biasness, but we
understand it's not, we know.
He's not a natural left back as well.
But he did well.
He did well, so I'll go with Timber.
Cynthia?
I will go with Timber as well because of his movements. He made a save. You know, I'd say he matched Brendan in a very important counter attack, in which if they would have scored, the scoreline would have been different. And so I'll go with Timber.
So Timber it is because Timber has 2 votes. It's done. We can't change nothing. Yeah. Now let us go now to the what? To a 6.
To the 6.
Okay, depending on the what formation do you go first? We should first talk about the formation.
I'll go with 3 midfielders, one holding midfielder and
2 attacking.
Okay, 2 holding midfielders and 1 attacking.
Which one do you prefer?
That's a 4-3-3 because already we have 2 backs and the centre backs as well. So we'll do 4-3-3.
So 2 holding or one attacking. Let us agree on one because those are 2 different formations.
Okay, for me I can say you just.
I know you're going with the Arsenal formation. No, you're going for 4-3-3. Sasa. So which one do you employ? 2 holders and 1 attacking, or one holding, 2 attacking? Which one do you prefer?
2 holding, 1 attacking.
Rodney?
2 holding, 1 attacking.
I cannot change nothing, so you're going with that. So let us start now. The first defensive, you're going 1 holding. The first holding, 6.
I'll do Caicedo.
You'll do Caicedo?
100%.
Good. Caicedo. Because of time, let us go first.
I support Caicedo.
You do Caicedo?
For me, Guimaraes, is there a holding? Okay, Caicedo. Ikitu inahitaji analysis.
I'll go with Caicedo, of course, P2. So the first CB, CB. M. R. RM, sindio?
Yeah.
RM, let us go with Caicedo. Caicedo, left mid.
Left mid. Okay, nikiangalia. Okay, left mid. Who do you go for, Cynthia?
I'm trying to check the Man City game because I know they did a substitution at halftime where Kovacic came off the game and Rodri came in, and so.
I know you love Rodri. That one goes without saying. So just say Rodri and be done.
Okay, Rodri.
She was trying to say Rodri. Huh? Anybody where Rodri is just being about biasness. If you mention Rodri, everybody just falls in love.
I'll vote for Eriksen.
Eriksen?
Yeah. I feel
Okay.
like...
For me, in this case, I'll say Bruno Guimaraes. Yeah. At Newcastle.
I'm going to go with Eriksen.
You're going to... Okay, Eriksen gets it.
I saw what the contribution he had. Amazing.
Yeah.
So you're doing Eriksen? For the next time mwone game mingi kwa sababu unidi hata wawa chini. Haya.
Umetupata.
No, I just wanted that. It was very... let us go now to the attacking now. Number 10.
Okay, number 10.
Attacking mid.
Smith Rowe. From Fulham.
Smith Rowe,
That's interesting.
I think that is easy,
Okay, I don't know if I can place this guy as a number 10, but Morgan Rogers was from Villa. He was playing behind
the striker.
Watkins, yeah. So
Morgan Rogers.
He was really impactful.
Formation ilikuwa gani? What is kuangalia formation yao though?
No, see.
You depend. Oh, number 10.
Yeah.
Oh, kama
so,
okay.
Mimi naenda na Morgan Rogers because he impacted a lot in that Aston Villa comeback against Everton. So for me, I'll go with Morgan. He played really well.
That's an interesting one. I'm trying to see who I pick.
I'm going with Morgan Rogers too, by the way. On a serious note, yeah.
For me,
amazing comeback, and it was very instrumental for the comeback. Exactly.
Amazing comeback.
Yeah.
Like he was very instrumental.
Yeah.
Even Watkins, it was amazing.
Because already there's two who have won, I will not comment on who I pick as my attacking.
Okay.
Was there to sit on the fence?
Yeah.
So we'll go with Morgan Rogers. Or do you have another?
No, Morgan has 2 votes already, so even if I say mine, it won't count.
It might.
It won't.
You can support Chris Smith Rowe. We decide between the two.
True. Yeah.
Let us go now to the
front three.
Front three now.
Yeah.
Right wing.
Very obvious.
I know.
Mad Diallo.
Nana pinga najua unataka kusema Madian.
Nataka kusema Saka. Yeah.
Saka, okay. Saka, Ahmad.
Saka.
I'll take Saka.
Saka. Ahmad. Now between Ahmad and Saka.
I'll stick with Saka. I can't change on that.
I think I'm just going with the Ahmad.
Ahmad.
That guy please.
So it is me you're putting on the spot now.
It's Saka for me. It's Saka.
Choose one between Saka and Ahmad. That is if you're maintaining your choice.
Maintaining Ahmad.
Yes, Cynthia?
Because if I say Saka, it'd still be 2-2.
Thank you for saying Ahmad.
Okay.
Sema itakuwa 2-2 bado.
Okay, so
Left wing?
Left wing, this one is an interesting one. I have Harvey Barnes. I have Brentford, that's Hudson Odoi.
Very fast, you have 5 minutes. You have only 5 minutes.
Okay, firstly, I'll go with Harvey Barnes.
Harvey Barnes?
Quality of the goal, as in, Harvey Barnes.
Harvey Barnes.
Harvey Barnes? Harvey Barnes, of course. I cannot change nothing. And Striker?
You can't put Rashford there.
Striker?
Striker is
Haaland.
easy. Haaland.
Very obvious.
You dare ask?
Okay, unless you're considering Watkins.
Nobody's considering Watkins, it's just Haaland. Now, thanks. 1 minute. Maliza tu haraka, please.
Okay. Nimeanalyze. Nimekwambia kitu ya team of the week inahitaji analysis. Naweza ingiza msewa Newcastle pia kwa hiyo back 4 ya team of the week. Nataka kuweka Fabian Schär. Yeah, nimeiona nikasema that quality. As in unaangalia pia goal quality na pia comeback. So nafikiria kutoa delete niweke Fabian.
Next time take a bench. Tutakuwa na bench sana, tutakuwa na half time. So, now please 1 minute tumalize.
Yeah. So let me start by saying, of course, segment ya mwisho imetuambush, so tumejaribu sana kutafuta hizo team of the week, but it's fine. Next time we'll do better. But for now, thank you so much, guys, for sticking with us from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Catch this show on repeat leo jioni from 9:30 usiku onwards. So yeah, kama uku watch show, watch usiku show. Have a blessed week. God bless you.
For me, I'll just say it's been quite a sporty weekend and a sporty week as well, from the Diamonds League to obviously the CAF Confederations Champions League, CAF Champions League, as well as the EPL. So also an interesting week ahead. Let's see what happens.
Thank you guys for watching. This is the Scoreboard. Until next time, thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone, for keeping us company from the time we started at 2 p.m. to now. You will be leaving at 4 p.m. Now, this is what you're going to do, briefly. Now, from next week, during the weekend, have your team on paper, team of the week. Then we'll be discussing very fast before you think, okay? It will be easy and save a lot of time, okay. Because this section is very important. Now, to our fans, please, you've had our team of the week. We'll be posting it somewhere along on our pages. So, please discuss about it. Remove who you feel like should be out and who should be in, and we'll be very grateful. Let us meet here next time or next Monday from the same time, same place. God bless you so much. Thank you for my show. Gladys, thank you for watching. Thank you for everyone who's watching.
She's our biggest fan.
Biggest fan. King Ori and the mom, thank you so much. Next time, bye.